Have you ever wondered how to create a level of intimacy so profound that it leaves your partner feeling truly cherished for days or even weeks after the moment is past? Today, we are answering that exact question by exploring the advanced 3-step protocol for deep, intimate connection. I'm Dr. Christine Rodriguez, and here at the Men's Vitality Hub, we don't just talk about the how-to. We talk about the biological and emotional why that helps men over 45 reclaim their vitality and strengthen their most precious bonds. I've spent my career as a clinician and researcher, and I can tell you that the secret to being a memorable partner isn't found in a pill or a natural-born gift. It's found in understanding the delicate neurochemistry of connection. Most men are never taught these specific rhythmic techniques, leaving them to guess their way through intimacy. But what if I told you that by mastering a simple biological reset, you could increase reported relationship satisfaction by over 60%? Stay with me, because the third step I'm going to share, the pause and resume method, is the exact moment where most men fail, yet it is the ultimate key to unlocking a level of responsiveness you likely haven't seen in years. Before we dive into the mechanics, we have to address the invisible barrier to intimacy, the myth of the natural. In my clinic, I see men every day who worry that they've lost their edge or that their age has somehow diminished their ability to be a great lover. Let's look at the hard data. According to the Journal of Sexual Medicine, physical stamina is actually ranked significantly lower by women than emotional presence and intentionality. Imagine your relationship is like a high-performance engine. If the timing is off, the whole machine shakes. Confidence is the oil that makes the gears turn smoothly. Your partner has a biological radar. She can sense hesitation, anxiety, or a rushed energy. This sympathetic nervous system response can actually trigger a fight or flight tension in her, making it physically impossible for her to reach a state of peak relaxation. Real confidence doesn't come from being perfect, it comes from having a reliable roadmap. When you know exactly what to do next, your heart rate slows, your touch becomes more deliberate, and she feels safe enough to truly let go. To understand why these 3 steps work, we have to look at the long-term erosion that happens in many relationships after age 45. Over time, intimacy can become routinized. It becomes a series of predictable steps that lead to a predictable conclusion. Biologically, this is a disaster for dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of novelty and pursuit. When things become a routine, the brain stops releasing the excitement chemicals. This is why many men feel like the spark has dimmed. However, by changing your technique, you aren't just changing a physical movement, you're rewiring the reward circuitry in both of your brains. We are going to replace routine with revelation. We are going to move away from the microwave approach to intimacy and embrace the slow-braise method, which is where the deepest emotional flavors are developed. Still with me? That shows you're serious about your vitality. Let's begin with step 1, the architecture of comfort. In the medical world, we know that blood flow and nerve sensitivity are heavily dictated by the alignment of the spine and pelvis. Most couples stick to the standard positions out of habit, but for a woman's body to truly respond, we need to optimize the angles. Imagine this. Instead of just starting, you take 30 seconds to place a firm pillow under her hips. This simple act of pelvic tilting does 2 things. Physically, it changes the internal alignment to make sensitive areas more accessible to your touch. Psychologically, it signals to her that you are focused on her experience. It shifts the dynamic from a task to a ceremony. For men over 45, comfort is also a 2-way street. If you are straining your back or knees, your body is releasing cortisol, the stress hormone, which is the enemy of intimacy. Whether you choose to kneel on a cushion or sit at the edge of the bed, the goal is to create a stability zone, where you can remain for 20 to 30 minutes without fatigue. The why behind this architecture is rooted in the vagus nerve. This is the longest nerve of the autonomic nervous system, and it controls the rest and digest or tend and befriend response. When her pelvis is supported and she is physically comfortable, her vagus nerve sends a signal to her brain that says, "I am safe, I am supported, I can open up." If she is straining to hold a position, her brain is preoccupied with muscle tension, not pleasure. By being the architect of this comfort, you're taking the role of the protector. You're building the container in which her pleasure can grow. Have you ever considered that the most masculine thing you can do in the bedroom is to provide the structural safety for her to feel vulnerable? This is the foundation that most men skip, yet it is the bedrock of everything that follows. Moving into step 2, we address the biological buildup. This is where the gap between men and women is widest. Biologically, men are often like a microwave, quick to heat. Women, however, are more like a slow cooker. They require a process called vasocongestion, where blood gradually fills the pelvic tissues. This isn't just a nice to have. It is a physiological requirement for peak satisfaction. Most men rush the main event, but the proximity rule states that you should start as far away from the center as possible. Think of her body like a map. You don't start at the destination. You enjoy the scenery. Gentle caresses on the inner thighs are powerful because the skin there is thin and highly populated with sensory neurons that lead directly to the pelvic floor. When you use your tongue or hands with calculated slowness, you are building a chemical called oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Imagine this buildup like a storm gathering on the horizon. You can feel the static in the air long before the first drop of rain falls. That static is what most men miss. By focusing on the inner thighs, the lower abdomen, and the curves of the waist, you are creating a sensory map. This increases her interoception, her internal awareness of her own body sensations. As you move closer to her most intimate areas, you must resist the urge to increase speed. Speed is the enemy of sensation in the early stages. Instead, increase intentionality. Use different textures, the softness of your lips, the slight friction of your thumb, the warmth of your breath. Every variation in texture sends a new signal to her somatosensory cortex, keeping her brain fully engaged and preventing her from drifting off or thinking about her to-do list for tomorrow. Still with me? Your focus is your greatest asset. Now, let's talk about the 3-minute rule. Research suggests that for many women, the brain needs at least 3 minutes of consistent, rhythmic stimulation in one specific area before it fully locks into the sensation. Most men switch techniques every 30 seconds because they get bored or think they need to try something new. This is like trying to start a fire by rubbing 2 sticks together for 10 seconds, then stopping to try a different pair of sticks. You have to stay with the friction. You have to stay with the rhythm. Consistency is a signal of competence. It tells her, I know what I'm doing, and I'm not going anywhere. This builds a secondary layer of trust that allows her to descend deeper into her own experience. This brings us to the most critical phase, the neurorhythmic transition. As the blood flow increases and the vasocongestion reaches its peak, her sensitivity will change. What felt good 2 minutes ago might feel too much now. This is where your communication, both verbal and nonverbal, comes in. You don't need to ask, is this good? Instead, use the imagine this technique. Imagine you are a guide leading someone through a beautiful but unfamiliar forest. You don't ask them if the forest is pretty. You point out the specific flowers. I love how your skin feels when I do this. Or, tell me when you feel that heat building. These are direct response cues that keep both of you in the present moment. By age 45, we often have a lot on our minds. Mortgages, health, children, but this protocol is designed to shut out the world and leave only the two of you in the room. Now we reach step 3, the pause and resume method, the secret sauce of elite intimacy. In the medical field, we call this sensate focusing, combined with arousal stacking. As a woman nears a peak moment, her heart rate increases, her breathing becomes shallow, and her pupils dilate. Most men see this as the green light to go faster and harder. That is a mistake. By doing that, you're hitting a ceiling of sensation. It's like hitting a high note and just staying there until the voice cracks. Instead, when you see those signs of tensing muscles and deep breathing, you are going to stop. Not a full stop that kills the mood, but a micro pause. You pull back, kiss her neck, or speak softly into her ear. This 20 to 30 second break allows the nervous system to reset, and this is the key, the blood remains trapped in the pelvic tissues. The vasocongestion doesn't disappear, it just stabilizes. When you resume, the sensation isn't just starting over, it's stacking on top of the previous buildup. It's like a wave that gets higher and higher each time it hits the shore. This layering effect is what creates those shaking moments of release that she will remember for weeks. It transforms the experience from a physical act into a spiritual connection. This technique requires immense discipline from you, the man. It requires you to be the master of the rhythm, holding back your own desire to rush to the finish so that you can guide her to a higher peak. Think about the long-term effects of this method. When a woman knows that her partner is capable of this kind of patience and control, her base level of attraction to him skyrockets. Why? Because it demonstrates executive function and high-value care. In nature, the most dominant males are often those who exhibit the most self-control and focus. By mastering the pause and resume, you are signaling to her biological hardwiring that you are a high-value partner who is capable of providing for her needs on a level that standard men simply cannot reach. This builds a feedback loop. She feels more satisfied, which makes her more responsive to you in the future, which builds your confidence, which improves your vitality. It is a virtuous cycle that can turn a tired relationship into a vibrant one. Still with me? That shows you have the stamina required for a truly great partnership. Let's talk about the afterglow science. What you do after the peak is just as important as what you do during the build-up. In the medical world, we see a massive drop in heart rate and a surge in prolactin after intimacy. For many men, this creates a refractory period where they want to sleep or pull away. However, for a woman, the oxytocin is still peaking. This is the integration phase. If you pull away now, you are essentially cutting the wire on the emotional connection you just built. Spending just 5 minutes in post-rhythmic connection, holding her, maintaining skin contact and speaking in a low, caring tone anchors the physical pleasure into her long-term memory. It turns a physical event into an emotional landmark. Imagine this scenario. You've followed the protocol, you've built the structure, you've stayed patient with the build-up, and you've used the pause and resume method to create a powerful experience. Now, as you hold her, you aren't just two people in a bed, you are a team. This is where true longevity is found. Men who have strong, intimate connections with their partners actually live longer. They have lower rates of heart disease, lower levels of systemic inflammation, and higher levels of natural testosterone. Intimacy is not just a bonus of a good life, it is a vital nutrient for a healthy one. By taking the time to learn these techniques, you are literally investing in your own lifespan. Are you starting to see how this all connects? It's not about being a performer, it's about being a facilitator of health and joy. Connection is the quiet thread that binds two souls in strength. When you apply these steps, the pelvic tilt, the biological buildup, and the pause and resume, you aren't just going through the motions. You are authoring a story of mutual respect and deep hormonal vitality. You are proving that your best years are not behind you. They are right here in the intentionality of your touch. True vitality is found in the joy we give to others. I want to challenge you tonight. Don't try to master all 3 steps at once if that feels overwhelming. Start with the architecture of comfort. Just focus on her physical alignment and see how that changes the energy in the room. Then next time, add the 3-minute consistency rule. Build your skills like a craftsman. Every man has the capacity for this. Most simply lack the instruction. You now have the instruction. You have the why. You have the biological roadmap that separates the Men's Vitality Hub community from the rest of the world. Still with me? Your dedication to your relationship is the highest form of self-respect. If you found this deep dive helpful and you want to keep reclaiming your health and relationship power, hit that like button and join our brotherhood here at Men's Vitality Hub. We're building a community of men who refuse to settle for average as they age. We believe that 45, 55, 65, and beyond can be the most vibrant years of your life if you have the right tools and the right mindset. I want to hear from you in the comments. What is the one thing you feel is most overlooked when it comes to building intimacy after 45? Is it the physical aspect, or is it the mental chatter that gets in the way? I read every single one of your questions, and they often become the blueprint for my next video. Your voice matters here. We are all on this journey together, learning how to be better men, better partners, and more vital versions of ourselves. Remember, at any age, you can create the intimate connection you've always wanted. You don't need to be 20 again. In fact, the maturity and patience you have now actually make you better suited for this protocol than a younger man would be. You have the life experience, you have the depth, and now you have the technique. Take this knowledge, use it with care, and watch how it transforms not just your nights, but your entire relationship. Take care of yourself, stay informed, and remember, you are worth the effort. I'm Dr. Christine Rodriguez, and I'll see you in the next session.